for me. And of course, I got an even more greater honor to be able to hold the dear, the great soul, Ram, in my arms. What an amazing soul. Our whole family is very blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Madan Gopal.
And my dear devotees at the Bhakti Center and everybody in attendance this morning, my obeisances, thank you all very much for joining and allowing me to enter your circle and sharing some of my understandings with you. So this morning, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And let's see. I'm going to share my screen here just a second. Okay, here we go. So, the focus on today's discussion is going to be the lotus feet of the Lord, our only shelter. And you'll see how this theme plays out in the two verses that we're going to read today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 86, verse number 30. We'll do 30 and 31. The lotus feet. Vacha madhuraya prinan idam ahanna tarpitan padavanka gato vishnu samprashanchanakeir muda. When they had eaten to their full satisfaction, for their further pleasure, the king began to speak, slowly and in a gentle voice, as he held Lord Vishnu's feet in his lap and happily massaged them. Verse number 31. Shri Bahulashva Uvacha Bhavani Sarva Bhutanam Atma Sakshi Swadrig Vibho Athanastvat Padam Bhojam Smaratam Darshanam Gata. Shri Bahulashva said, O Almighty Lord, you are the soul of all created beings, their self-illumined witness, and now you are giving your audience to us, who constantly meditate on your lotus feet. Purport by servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains, Bahulashva's inner thoughts are as follows. Bahulashva glorifies Lord Krishna as the inspiring soul of all life and consciousness, thinking that even an inert dullard like himself could be awakened to devotional awareness by his mercy. He glorifies the Lord as the witness of all pious and impious actions, confident that the Lord remembers whatever little devotional service he has ever done. And he glorifies him as self-illumined, never needing to be enlightened or informed by an external source. With the knowledge that the Lord has always been aware of Bahulashva's long-cherished secret desire to see him. Purport ends here. Om Agyanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance. My spiritual master kindly opened my darkened eyes and filled my heart with transcendental knowledge. I bowed to his lotus feet. I also offer my obeisances to all of you assembled Vaishnavas and kindly seek your mercy and permission for me to read Srimad Bhagavatam in your association. So it is such a blessing, dear devotees, to be with you today, to dive into one of those golden moments from the 10th canto. The kind of story that makes you fall in love with Krishna all over again. So we're in chapter 86, where Lord Krishna, it's the same Lord Krishna who lifted Govardhan, who danced with the gopis. That Supreme Lord takes time out to personally visit two very different devotees in Mithila. One is King Bahulashva. He's a royal descendant of Janak Maharaj. He's like 30 generations down after Janak, like 29 generations. It's a great soul in a great lineage. And we know Janak Maharaj, by the way, is listed among the list of 12 Mahajans. So, his line is quite special, Bahulashva. And then there's a poor Brahmana by the name of Shrutadeva, who barely earned enough to survive. Now get this, both were deeply devoted, and Krishna loved them both equally. So what does Krishna do? He expands himself. He literally clones himself and goes to visit both at the same time. That's how much he values a devotee's heart. So you can see how the Lord, he's already expanded himself in everyone's heart anyway. But still, even from an external point of view, he comes outside and he interacts with the devotees in different ways. So today, we are focusing on verses 30 and 31, where the story reaches this beautifully personal scene between the king, Bahulashva, and the Supreme Lord. So let's unpack some of this nectar, and it's a lot of nectar in here. The three key points I want to make. The verse is like this: when they had eaten to their full satisfaction, for their further pleasure, the king began to speak slowly and in a gentle voice as he held Lord Vishnu's feet in his lap and happily massaged them. Now just pause and picture this for a moment. A king, someone who commands vast armies and so much wealth. He has the world at his feet. That king now has Krishna's lotus feet in his lap, and he's gently massaging them with great joy and ecstasy. What does this show? This shows that bhakti, it's loving exchange, the service, loving devotional service, is personal. It's not ceremonial. It's not some official state religious ritual. This is relationship. Bhakti is way beyond hollow ritualism. In fact, ritualism is an impediment to devotion. It's the antithesis of love. Ritualism tends to convince us that we have reached devotional service because we're going through the external motions, even though our hearts and our minds may be disengaged. This deception is a time trap. It's a kind of a self-deception. It's a time trap because it traps us in the and the limitations of the time factor. The deception of hollow ritualism is a seduction that keeps us malnourished while we think that these styrofoam packing peanuts of hollow ritualistic motions that I'm chewing all day will someday make me strong. There's no taste. There's no nutrition. It just resembles peanuts. You get nothing out of it. Namak kar bahir hoy, nam nahi hoy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that just the external letters, the characters of the written word of the holy name, that's not the holy name. The holy name has to be uttered with feeling, with connection. It is an offense, right? We know it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. And we know that we can go on this way inattentively, disconnected for many lifetimes and not achieve the goal of Krishna Prem. So what we're seeing in this picture of the king massaging the lotus feet of the Lord, it's not ceremonial. It is an exchange of pure love that is very engaged with the heart and with the feelings. Krishna isn't receiving some pompous royal welcome. Of course, it's nice to give him royal welcomes. Everything has to be royal, sure. Everything the best for Krishna. But that's not the point here. He is sitting like your best friend at your house, letting you serve him with your own hands. The second point is lotus feet. Throughout the Bhagavatam, the lotus feet of the Lord are like this golden thread running through every devotee's heart. The lotus feet of the Lord represent shelter. They represent humility because you serve the lotus feet. So, it's our humility. And they represent an entrance into intimacy. Now, here's the thing, that Bahulashva doesn't go for Krishna's, like looking at Krishna's crown or his jewels or even his glands. He goes straight for the lotus feet, just like Lakshmi Devi herself. That's bhakti maturity. And it's interesting, I was just reflecting, the name here used for Krishna is Vishnu. It says he's massaging Vishnu's lotus feet. To kind of drive home the point that this is a scene like Lakshmi Devi worshipping Vishnu. Of course, we know Krishna is Vishnu, but it doesn't say Krishna. It doesn't say Madhusudana. It says Vishnu. It's interesting. So it kind of harkens to that point of how Lakshmi Devi is eternally serving those lotus feet. Now, another point that caught my attention in this verse is that Bahulashvara's voice is described as, the tone. He said slowly and in a gentle voice. Why is that detail given here? Because when you're in love, you slow down. You're present. You're careful. You're savoring the moment. Bahulashva doesn't rush into his speech like a news anchor, just rattling off the facts in the most time-efficient manner. He speaks softly. He speaks gently, like a son speaking to his long-lost father. So the Bhagavatam teaches us that how we speak to Krishna matters just as much as what we say to Krishna. See, our attitude when we approach Krishna is reflected in the way we speak. And we speak to Krishna every day when we chant. Is our attitude reflective of that love, the gentleness? Are we savoring Krishna's holy names? Is our heart saturated with gratitude? when we call out to him. So it's all about being present, being careful, being attentive, being affectionate, and savoring the moment, appreciating, and being grateful for what we've been given. And it comes out in this way, slowly and in a gentle voice. This is also a tip for us on how we should talk to each other. It's not like, oh, with Krishna, I'll speak slowly in gentle voice. With other people, I'll be harsh and curt and even rude if need be. Sometimes necessary to be rude. Is it really? Maybe it's necessary to be loud because you can't hear, or it's necessary to be quick and efficient. Sure, nothing wrong with that. But we don't need to be harsh and rude. Something for all of us to learn when we interact with each other. So bhakti is personal, not ceremonial. The lotus feet can't be beat. Slowly and in a gentle voice. Then he goes on with the next verse. He says, "O Almighty Lord, you are the soul of all created beings, their self-illumined witness. And now you are giving your audience to us who constantly meditate on your lotus feet." So this verse is just packed, this one verse is packed with so much spiritual insight. So I thought I'll break it into, again, three pieces, or three bite-sized points. First one, he says, you are the soul of all created beings. He's saying, my Lord, you're not just sitting in front of me. You've been with me all along. Inside me. Krishna is not far away. He's in your heart, watching, guiding, waiting. Even when we forget he's there, he's there. It's like Bahulashva is realizing, wow, you were there through my ups and downs, my faults, my efforts, and you still came here to see me. So when we come in front of the deity of the Lord, we can similarly meditate. My Lord, you're here. And I'm just now realizing that you've been in my heart the whole time. I'm sure you've had that experience, that when we see the Lord, and then we also reflect, oh, wait, it strikes us. It's striking. My Lord, you're so beautiful, Radha Muralidhar form. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing there. You just amazingly, you just steal the heart. And it's hitting me again and again that you've been with me the whole time. Yes, I know I came some distance to see you. And I'm appreciative of what this vision, this darshan that I'm getting. But I'm also reminding myself that, oh, you've been with me the whole time. So it's kind of like what Bahulashva is going through, that he is having the lotus feet in his hands of the Lord, literally massaging, serving. And he's realizing, oh, you are the soul of all created beings. You've been with me the whole time. It's a very sweet connection when we realize that you've always been with me. And the lotus feet come back here again with the theme. Even the Lord is in everyone's heart. He reveals himself only to those who meditate on his lotus feet. Not his power or his cosmic display, but his lotus feet. That's the password to the Lord's domain. Second point is that he calls him the self-illumined witness. This one's big, it's important. Krishna doesn't need someone to inform him. He doesn't rely on social media to know how you're doing spiritually. He is self-lit. Self-lit. My young son, he says, Dad, that's lit. Apparently that's like a new, this generation's way of saying that's totally cool, it's awesome. He is self-lit. He knows everything. past, present, future. And especially he remembers your bhakti, what you did for him. Even the little things, the one tulsi leaf you offered, that kirtan you sang with tears, that one time you walked away from temptation, you turned it down. No, I don't want it anymore. He saw it all. He witnessed it, and he smiles when you do that. He knows how much effort is required, how much you have to overcome to turn away from the dark side, to move toward him, to break away from the shackles. He knows the effort, and he appreciates it. He saw it all. In the Ishopanishad, there's that one verse, verse 17, says, "Now, my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you're the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I've done for you." So sometimes we may have that feeling, "My Lord, do you remember?" But the Lord always does. We might forget. Others might overlook it, but he remembers every drop of devotion because that's what he is hungry for. He remembers how you made him feel. Remember, he's a person, he has feelings. He doesn't forget. And point number 3 is, you are now giving your audience to us who is constantly meditating on your lotus feet. Let's just sit with that for a second. He says, it's not about, does God exist? That's not the question. The real question is God available? Is he accessible? Is he knowable? Is he lovable? Because if God is real, but is unreachable, he may as well not exist for us. But here Bahulashra says, you are showing yourself to us. Not the yogis on the mountaintops, not the jnanis lost in dry debate, but those who just cling to your lotus feet again and again. This is the beauty of bhakti. God reveals himself to love, to loyal remembrance, and an active service attitude, not to accomplishment. He says, Bhaktyama abhijanati. I'm known by bhakti. So let's tie all this together with this powerful verse. This is the demigods praying to the Supreme Lord while Krishna is still in the womb. They're saying, Yen ye ravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayasta bhavada vishuddha buddhaya aruhya krichnena param padam tata patantyadhonadrita yushmadantraya. So rough point here is that those who think they're liberated, vimuktamaninas in their mind, but they don't surrender to your lotus feet. Angri means lotus feet. Yushmad angraya. They don't surrender. They fall down. Patanti. Their intelligence isn't pure. Avishuddha buddha. It's pretty powerful. The Lord is not even born yet. But the demigods, all these devtas, Lord Shiva Brahma, they know what's going on. They're offering prayers. They don't want to lose any opportunity to offer prayers. The demigods are saying, even so-called liberated persons, what they think they reached the parampadam, the highest. If they ignore your lotus feet, they miss the point. They may renounce the world, they may master yoga, they may write commentaries, but if they don't take shelter of your lotus feet, my Lord, they're like boats without rudders. So again, we're brought back to the central image of the lotus feet of the Lord. Those feet are the goal of meditation. Those feet are the source of our spiritual strength. And they're the home of our soul. Prabhupada explains, feet in this verse, feet means person. Person means relationships and feelings and love and service. And it starts by acknowledging the lotus feet and respecting them. Adara. Adara means to respect. And those who do not respect them, anadrita, this was the verse here, anadrita, they fall down, patanti. So let's bring this home with a few practical reminders. We see King Bahulashra massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. Massaging the lotus feet of the Lord is the same as doing our service with love. Whether we are cooking or sweeping or chanting, we want to picture ourselves at his lotus feet, offering something small with a great deal of affection. Second point, let us slow down when talking to the Lord. Let us savor the moment. When I say slow down, I mean, your mind is rushing all over the place. Calm the mind down. Bring it home. And we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We smile that we've been given this opportunity and relish that moment. So when you chant, when you pray, take your time. Speak softly like Bahulashra. Make it personal. How you speak affects the other person. Let us, like Prabhupada says, sit properly. And of course, speak nicely. Another point, your devotional service is never forgotten. Remember how in the purport it mentions that Bahulashra is confident that the Lord remembers whatever little devotional service he has done. He's confident. So we can cultivate that confidence too. Even if no one thanks you or no one notices you, he notices. Because he is a self-illumined witness. He is totally lit, self-lit. He never forgets. And he appreciates. One of the Krishna's qualities is kritagya. Kritagya means grateful. But literally, kritagya means one who is cognizant of what you did for him. Gya means knowledgeable or cognizant. And krita means what you did. He knows what you did. That's the definition of gratitude in Sanskrit. Kritagyata. And it's one of his qualities, listed one of his 26 qualities. He notices. So you don't need to worry whether you got your name announced or whatever. It doesn't matter. The final point is, let us constantly meditate on his beautiful lotus feet. Let us make it our safe space, our go-to focus, the place we always return to. And I'll end with this. Let's turn to those whose hearts live fully and forever at his lotus feet. The gopis of Vrindavan, the highest devotees. In the Gopi Gita, there's a verse that's so tender, so heartfelt. It instantly brings tears to anyone who has devotion. Chalasiyad Vraja Charyan Pashun. This is part of the Gopi Gita. Maybe I should sing it instead, because it's so beautiful. It's a Gopi Gita. Gita means a song. Chalasiyad Vraja Charayan Pashun Nalina Sundaram Nathate Padam Shilatrinankurai Sidati Tinam Kalilatamana Kanta Gachati. Dear Master, dear lover, when you leave the cowherd village to herd the cows, our minds become disturbed at the thought that your feet, more beautiful than a lotus, will be pricked and poked by the spiked husks of grain, the rough grass, and the tiny shoots of plants and stones on the forest path. Just pause and feel that. The gopis aren't lamenting their separation. No. They're not worrying about themselves. No. They're worrying about his lotus feet. That even a tiny blade of baby grass Trinankure. Ankura means like just a bud, which is actually pretty soft, but they feel Krishna's feet are even softer. That even a tiny blade of grass might scratch them. The small pebble might cause him pain. They can't handle the thought. Their minds become overwhelmed, disturbed, chaotic, not by the absence of Krishna's company, but by the vulnerability of his sweet, soft lotus feet. Now, that is bhakti in its purest form, in its highest expression. Not what can I get out of it? Not even, will you love me back? But simply, I can't bear to see you hurt. The gopis, they had nothing to gain, yet they gave everything, their minds, their hearts, their entire existence, to serve and protect his lotus feet. So this is an invitation to us when we meditate on this section. And we can pray that, my Lord Krishna, I may not have the gopis type of pure love, but please at least give me that kind of concern. Let me care about your comfort more than my own. Let me meditate on your lotus feet the way they do, not as ornaments, but as something so soft, so delicate, that even a blade of grass could make me weep. Let's carry that mood as we serve every day, not just offering flowers at the altar, which we should do, but offering our hearts like the gopis offered their hearts and their minds, fully absorbed in your lotus feet. So today, from Bahulashvara's gentle massaging to the Ye Nye Ravindaksha verse about surrendering to the lotus feet, to the gopis' trembling love for Krishna and for every step that he takes, we are reminded that the lotus feet of Krishna are not just a poetic image. They are our path. They are our protection. They are our perfection. Let's live our lives massaging those lotus feet with every act of service, remembering those feet with every mantra we chant, and surrendering to those feet in every step of our journey home. Thank you very much for your time and your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So if you have any questions or comments, we have about 11 minutes.
Thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Looks like Adipurusha Prabhu and his temple crew have questions.
Hi Krishna, thank you for the class. Shrimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's purport. You used the word malnutrition, and for some reason that really just like opened up something within me. I mean, I've been in an association of devotees for over 45 years, and sometimes I still feel malnutritioned, not in the sense of a lack of, I just feel like what I do know about Krishna, there's still so much more that I do not know. So in that sense, I feel some lack. Yeah. And, reading Srila Prabhupada's purports and books have definitely opened up a phenomenal, impression about who Krishna is. However, and even though I still feel him, day to day working in my own life, I still just feel like I haven't tasted it, fully yet, even in these 45 years. Yeah. So when you said when you used that word, for some reason, it just triggered something within me. So, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your reflection. I think this malnourishment and malnutrition, it's a real phenomenon, and it happens for a number of reasons. One is that primarily it's our own attention, how much affection we've developed, attention we give to our services, and also to our own depth of our conditioning. So when we talk about cleansing the mirror of the mind, there are two components that determine whether we're successful. One is how dirty is the mirror to begin with? In other words, how conditioned are we? And two is how intensely am I working on cleaning the mirror? So both are factors. And so sometimes we may not be very good at what we do, but if we do it long enough, intensely enough, and if we're steady, like you are, then we can make a lot of progress. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Adipurusha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. What a class. What a sweet, sweet subject matter. How many times you mentioned the word a tender affection, and the whispering of your voice is like
Hey, Madan Gopal Prabhu, Adipurusha Prabhu quotes you all the time. Every single time he takes the floor, he quotes you. He's your biggest fan.
I'm his biggest fan, so we're loving each other that way.
This picture holding Krishna's feet on his lap. I mean, have you ever been anywhere and seen that? That someone had such humility and love that they were slow, like you said, slowly, gently. These words. Massaging with warm care. Wow, it's just extraordinary. It's beyond the normal, quote unquote, quality of interaction that we see in this world, where people are, what does it say? Manda sumanda mateo manda bhagya. The age of quarrel is, the age of Kali is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. There's a harshness, even in affectionate relationships like a husband and wife or parents and children. What to speak of the relationship between the citizens and the government and neighbors among each other. So we're, in a desert, in an affectionate, emotional desert, but just to hear about this quality of appreciation and these gestures of affection, stunning. We aspire for that, we long for that, because that's the real normal. Anyway, just a small reflection.
Thank you, Adipurush Prabhu. It's a very deep reflection that this is really what is normal. But in this world, which is abnormal, normal is so rare. It's actually a real treat. And yet just aspiring for it intensely enough makes us normal. Even this point of having no taste for chanting and being sad about it, that itself is huge. Even if you're just sad about having no taste, is huge. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches how to do it. He says, right, I have no taste. Doesn't he say it in Shikshashtakam? Durdevam idrishamiha jaina anuraga. He's teaching us how to be sad for having no taste. And that's great. Even to do that. Thank you. I see Min has her hand up. Hare Krishna, Min. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Madan Gopal. Thank you so much for this beautiful presentation. I was just so moved by everything you had said, because I sort of heard it as some kind of culmination of what I've been asking in the last week in class. And this topic of, we've been in conversation about what is the pause, the necessity for pause while we're chanting or reading. And the topic of to know God is to love God. And the topic of service, I've been thinking about all these. And, I was hearing you when you so sweetly explaining the lotus feet of the Lord and the ritual versus the personal of approach to God. I was thinking how this pause that seems so necessary to think about or feel, not necessarily to think, but feel, to ask us, how do I feel about Krishna? When we're in our practice. I've been thinking, oh, I must do that. I have to do that to integrate what I'm learning, what I'm experiencing. But from your lecture, I'm getting the sense that we could actually get there naturally, that it could spring, that sense can spring from within when we really appreciate Krishna, of how much, even when you said he remembers everything, I was weeping. It's, I forget that he does. I feel like I'm just in my little corner, just doing my own thing, like not, you know, not realizing that he's seeing everything. Anyway, there's so much going on in my head. I just wanted to thank you so much for this beautiful lecture.
Thank you very much, Min. I find that also very moving, that quality of Krishna, of his gratefulness. It's not just that we should be grateful to God. God is grateful to us. You know, the story of how one time Krishna had a little cut, maybe a paper cut or something, and Draupadi tore a piece of her sari, small piece, and made a bandage, tied it. And she said, my Lord, oh my God, I have to. Krishna remembered that little gesture. Little sari, little piece. And then Krishna repaid it with unlimited sari when she needed it. Huge. Dusashan couldn't do anything. He kept pulling and pulling, no, unlimited sari. Krishna always pays back his debts. He never forgets. We may forget. But that's love, right? Love is not a one-way street. He is a source of love. So he is also the source of gratitude. Called being a person. Thank you, Min. Great point. Krishna Kumari Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So nice to hear from you and this beautiful Sangha. I have this question about the actual text translation. It says here, I even got out my book to see like, oh, maybe your version is different, but it says that the king began to speak slowly in a gently voice as he held Lord Vishnu's feet in his lap and happily massaged them.
Yes.
Not Lord Krishna's feet. So did Krishna change form here into Vishnu?
It's a good question. I don't believe there's that information provided, but Krishna's many names, one of them is Vishnu. And like I mentioned in the talk, I have a sense that the name Vishnu is chosen specifically to remind us that this is how Lakshmi Devi serves the Lord, massaging his feet. You know, so then in that sense, he's serving Krishna. Now, there's no real difference between Vishnu and Krishna, honestly speaking. He's the same person. And so depending on the mood you want to interact with him, you can have different names for him. When you call Krishna Madhusudana, it means something. When you call him Madhava, it means something. When you call him Vishnu, it means something. Sometimes the form may look the same. Sometimes the form looks drastically different. If you call him Narasimha, it's quite different looking, and so on and so forth. But yes, you're right. The original verse does say Vishnu. The translation says Vishnu. And it's possible that he's approaching from the Vishnu kind of angle in terms of mood. Now we're going to take darshan of Shri Radha Murlidhar. So please, everyone, if you can present yourselves to the Lord as well, if possible, that'll be very nice. Hare Krishna.
Mandarpakoti kamaniya visheshasto Haripurusha Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Haripurusha Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Haripurusha Tamaham Bhajami Andani Priya Priti Manti Asyanti Kanti Kayanti Shiram Jaganti Anandanti Maya Sadhu Kayanti Rasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Haripurusham 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 Tamaham Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master, the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor, Lord and master, the master of mercy. Give us the shade on his feet. And spread all over his wings. Take shelter in the place. Shiva Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Mulidhar. Jai Arjuna Prabhu. Jai Vasudev Prabhu. Please mute us. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, welcome to the Afterglow. Madan Gopal Prabhu, you have a few minutes?
Yes, I can spend a few minutes.
Great. Okay, dear devotees, go ahead. Ask your question. Make a comment. Okay, we have Stephanie followed by Gail.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for class. So I wanted to really, before I was thinking of a question of, why Krishna's feet? Why not the hands, the head? What's so significant? And Krishna is just so great because, I'm getting the kids ready for school and all while I'm listening. And I went into the room and Sage was laying down. And I was asking her what she wanted for a snack and not even realizing I'm rubbing her feet. And then I go in the other room and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't have the words for it as why I do that, but just, and they say that, that's the closest form of love you could find here in this world is a mother's love for her child. And that's what I went to, not even realize I went to her feet and started rubbing them. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. Funny how Krishna is always there. Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's something very special and sweet about his lotus feet. His lotus feet are so sweet that Krishna also, I mean, he like wonders, what does it feel like? What do feet taste like, literally, you know? And so, he does stuff like this, where he's a little baby and he's sucking on his own toe. He's like, oh, these are quite sweet. So there's something there for sure. Little babies do this. You might have seen little babies do this as well. The feet are, in one sense, the lowest part of the body. So when you serve them, that means you're considering I'm the lowest part. But there's also, it's interesting that even just biologically speaking, or like Ayurvedically, there's this concept of acupressure, where your feet have pressure points that connect to all of your body. So you can heal all bodily ailments. Like if you have a kidney problem, then there's a point called the kidney point in your feet that if you massage that particular point in a particular way, it can resolve your kidney issues, and so on and so forth, right? So similarly, Lakshmi Devi, serving the Lord, and by massaging the feet, it's like serving all of existence, because everything is connected to the lotus feet of the Lord. See, He is the root of all existence. So that's another angle. The feet are also, in one sense, very delicate, or they're very sensitive. They have different parts, and then like you step on something, so they're soft, they're delicate. And another thing is, when you come from a journey and you wash the feet with some warm water, it's very refreshing. So the feet also kind of reciprocate that you feel good when you serve. There's a response there. So there's many reasons why the lotus feet. I mean, those are just some of the ones I can think of. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a good thing to meditate on, Hare Krishna. Yes, Gail, Mataji, you have a comment or a question?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, interestingly enough, my question was practically the same, but during the class, I thought you had mentioned 3 specific significances of Krishna's feet. So I think, was it serving his feet? Do you remember mentioning 3 things in particular?
Yeah.
Like, I think one was, it's a way to render affectionate service. I don't know if I'm remembering properly, but I felt like one of them was something like that. And then there were another 2 that I wanted you to remind me about.
Yeah. So the 3 points that I was making was that bhakti is personal, not ceremonial.
Yeah.
The second one was his lotus feet. Okay, so within lotus feet,
Yeah.
there are 3 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Within lotus feet, I mentioned that they represent our shelter, right? The second point is that it's a way to express our humility, because serve lotus feet is a humble service. And they also represent intimacy.
Shelter, humility, and intimacy.
Yeah. Because, you won't just let any old person massage your lotus feet, right? Gail Mataji. It's only you reserve it for those who are very close to you. Similarly, Krishna doesn't just let anybody just come. You have to have a soft heart. You have to have some sense of wanting a relationship, and so on and so forth. So he gives his lotus feet to those who deserve them, and to those who don't, they don't get access. See, they get confused by things like the Lord is not, or the highest truth is not a person, or they're confused by thinking that the Lord is any ordinary human being, and so I should be the one enjoying, Why is he enjoying? And so on and so forth. So those kind of confusions are options given to delude those who are not qualified to approach his lotus feet. And what's the qualification? Qualification is to recognize who we are. The qualification is to have a sense of servitude, appreciation of our relationship of eternal servant. And if that is realized, then the Lord makes his lotus feet available. So that's why I'm saying it's an entrance to intimacy. It's an entrance to intimate service. So when we do get a chance to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, we should certainly take it.
And how about the, I wonder if you could spell out a little more clearly for me the relationship between his feet and shelter. Shelter in what sense? The shelter in the sense of taking refuge in him when we are, I don't know.
You know, you've heard this phrase, I'm taking shelter at lotus feet.
Yeah, but this word shelter can be kind of
yes
enigmatic or something.
No? Right. Now shelter, say, let's take the literal sense, means protecting from the elements. Shelter, roof over head, right? But in this case, it's not like Krishna's lotus feet are on our heads and it's saving our head from rain. That's not the kind of shelter we're talking about. We're talking about a protective kind of shelter where now you're near his lotus feet. And because you're near him and you're holding on to him, that if some person comes to try to attack you, they will not win. Krishna will protect you. Like Prahlad was protected because he took shelter of Lord Nrsingadev's lotus feet. So then, Krishna came out in the form of Nrsingadev and he protected Prahlad and killed Hiranyakashipu. So you can say, I'm taking shelter. Like when refugees come and take refuge in the country, we're taking shelter in your country. You're seeking shelter or refuge in your country. So when we seek shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, what are we seeking shelter from? We are seeking shelter from our insecurities. Now, I no longer feel insecure now that I'm with you. I no longer worry about my maintenance now that I'm with you. I no longer worry about who's going to protect me now that I'm with you. In fact, those are elements of surrender. Right? My maintenance, my protection, those are two distinct elements. Right?
Yeah, I was recognizing that when you were speaking.
Exactly. So that's what shelter means. Shelter means taking surrender at lotus feet, that you're near his lotus feet, you're holding on to them. And now all your misgivings, all your negativity, all your insecurities, they're gone. And we're confident. We have a sense of confidence that the Lord protects. Avashya rakhive Krishna, Vishwasa Palan. That's the surrender. And it feels incredibly liberating when you don't have to deal with the responsibility of maintaining yourself and protecting yourself.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine.
And not just that, but when you do take shelter of the Lord, you realize that you never were responsible for your own protection and maintenance. Always him doing it. You just were under the illusion that it is your strength that's protecting you. That's all. That realization is what clicks. See? Thank you, Gail. Great question.
Yeah, thank you for your answers. Thank you.
Min, go ahead.
I really like this, when you speak about about lotus feet of the Lord, that they're the entrance into intimacy, that they are the home of our soul. And, when you spoke about that in lecture, you kind of continue that part by saying when one is in love, one sort of slows down and is gentle and careful. And we're being affectionate and really savoring the moment. So, thinking about massaging somebody's feet, what to speak of Krishna's lotus feet, sure, like you're really savoring it and being appreciative. We're not like, when we're massaging, like, a partner's mom's feet, dad's feet, children's, but we're not like trying to just like do the dirty dishes and get it out of the way, but I want to bring it to the morning practice when I would love it if that's my mood every morning, but there's something in me, not always, but pretty often I think where the task of the day comes into my mind and it's already like at the gate, and I'm trying to sort of hold it off. So that sense of a little bit of anxiety, my mind going that way, kind of prevents me from really savoring that moment and entering into this intimacy with Krishna. What do we do about that? So that we're really there.
Yeah, I can give you one tip. I was told, I think it was Mother Rukmini, she described how our chanting beads that we chant on can be viewed as the toes of the Lord. So then now you're getting started with the massage. These are the toes. Oh, my Lord, you're so kind. You give me your sweet toes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. You can massage the beads, meditating on the toes of the Lord. Ah, there you go. That's your answer. How do you bring that massage into your morning program? It's right there.
That's great. Thank you.
That's a powerful one. Madan Gopal Prabhu. I'm going to call all the devotees who aren't in this class and tell them about it. It's such a powerful meditation. Thank you for sharing, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Wow.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a question. It prompted that. That's a perfect question. Hare Krishna. Well, okay.
Final instructions, Madan Gopal Prabhu.
Yes.
Please.
Final instructions is one important point that I think is important, is very critical for us to keep in our mind, is let us not get sidetracked or seduced by the promise of hollow ritualism. Whatever we do for the Lord, find ways to immediately bring some affection in it, personal connection. Find ways to shed a few tears every day of appreciation, even remorse. Just, I wasted my life, my Lord. Some tears, if you can do that every day, find a way to do it. As we'll get stuck. We're not nourishing the soul if you're not crying tears. When the tongue is dry, no matter what you put, even if you put salt on it, you won't taste it because it's dry. You need that liquid agent. The tears are that agent that gives us taste for Krishna consciousness. So keep that in mind. Don't go for hollow ritualism. Kick it away and embrace the Lord and beg for mercy that my Lord give me some taste. That's my final thought, parting thought. Please forgive me if I've made any mistakes. Feel free to send me a correction also. I live to be corrected. And I appreciate all your kind association and your kind attention during this class. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Madan Gopal Prabhu ki jai. Okay, Hemangi, please unmute yourself and recite the mantra.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for yet another beautiful class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We love you. We need you. Come again tomorrow. Jeffrey Eckler, take off your glasses, get closer to the device, and shed tears. We want to see if the class worked.
It's working. I'm not exhibiting it, but it's working.
Yes, Jeffrey Eckler, thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.